Hello, welcome to episode 6 of That's So Fashion. I'm Chris.
And I'm John. Can't believe it's been 6 episodes already.
6 episodes deep.
Where has the time gone?
They say time flies when you're having fun.
Well, I mean, with you.
Stop. Tell me more. Welcome. Thank you for joining us this long. This episode is going to be a mixed match of everything, collection development, what's happening in the world at the moment, and we're coming up to party season, so let's get into it. John.
Tell me, Chris, what are you thinking?
Well, my first thought is, off the back of that, we're coming up to party season. How excited are you for it? And do you have your outfits planned?
So I don't really do like party season because I'm no longer at a like company who does a winter, Christmas, holiday kind of party, and so I don't really do that. Although I do really like to have friends over, which I know we were speaking about earlier. Some years I've had 35 of my closest friends in my kitchen, and other times it's just been a couple of people, something a bit more intimate. Which I am very much looking forward to. Me and Lee are trying to round up some friends who are going to be in London over that season who aren't already, at their families for the week or whatever, and just figure something out.
Love it.
And I'm very much looking forward to that. I don't have any clothes picked out, but I will figure something out. I normally do buy a new sweater every season, as I like to have something bold for the holidays.
Love
that
that.
Isn't necessarily holiday themed.
That was my next question. Is it a Christmas jumper?
It usually ends up being something actually flowery. When I think about it, I've got quite a few that have like big, big knit flowers and things on them. They tend to be the most colorful, the most fun. But I haven't done that yet this year because I'm not at the weight that I want to be at. So that's maybe another topic for another conversation. And I might just have to recycle a previous look. We shall see.
The thing with you is, though, you have such a glorious collection. No matter what you wear, you always manage to look chic and wonderful.
Well, likewise. But yes, I'm very much looking forward to that. And then I will see. I mean, it'll be nice to spend some time with friends and do a lot of really nice cooking and, judge everybody else's clothes, obviously.
Naturally.
And then I'm going home to Canada after the season for a few weeks, and I'm very much looking forward to that. So
I can imagine.
Yeah, it'll be fun. But what about yourself? What are you going to be doing? What are you going to be wearing?
I've decided to dive face first into party season this year.
Love that.
I very rarely do party season. I'm not really a crowds person, but I thought we're coming up to both of our 40th, actually, very soon.
Very soon.
And I'm doing a farewell tour to my 30s.
Okay.
And I'm highly recommend doing this if you haven't done it before. You are thankful for the decade you've had and excited for the decade to come. So what I'm doing is lots of little events or situations or experiences that echo my journey through my 30s, whilst sprinkling a little dash of something new that I'm going to take that vibe into my 40s.
Okay.
So I never really do party season. So this year, as I'm doing my farewell tour, I've decided let's just get involved. So I've already wrapped up. I think I'm going to 4 parties.
Oh, amazing!
One is my Christmas do, but in for a penny, every pound.
Yeah.
We're doing something quite nice. We're going to like a posh meal and doing like a little games thing afterwards.
Oh, nice.
So I'm going to go quite glam.
Okay.
It's actually the running joke that everyone this year is going to have to up their game because I now work there, which I love. And
sounds about right.
It is correct. I've got a full Christmas plan with the fam, and we're going to go out to the booking office in central London for Christmas Day.
Oh, at St. Pancras?
St. Pancras.
Oh, that's fabulous. It's amazing there. Yeah. Don't forget, that's where I had my wedding.
I know. I actually said that earlier. When I booked it, that wasn't on my mind. And then when I was talking about it just now.
I love the booking office. Have you been there before?
No.
Oh, my God.
It was a mixture of 2 things. One, we found it, and I was like, this is gorgeous. And 2, it was one of the only places left that had space.
Fair.
So I was like getting quick, but also just stunning.
It is so beautiful in there if you've not been in there before.
Yeah.
And it is called the booking office because it was once upon a time the booking office for that station.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, the bar is the original like listed booking office itself, or it's been built to look exactly to the spec of what it was. And it is just beautiful, and it has the highest ceilings and these big palm trees. Like it's just, it's really.
I looked at all the
photos.
Time. Yeah, I did a lot of research. So I want to go full glam on the day. I mean, not that it's uncomfortable, because it's Christmas Day, you want to have some kind of comfort to it. But I'm oscillating at the moment between full suit or a chic two-piece.
Okay.
I'm leaning more towards two-piece because I feel like I'd be more comfortable, not trussed up, but I could still put it out the bag. What that two-piece is? TPC.
Well, what about that one that you made with Rob's orange and brown fabric?
Oh, going to the booking office in Dick fabric
suit. I mean, I was being censored and trying to be subtle.
It's a Dick fabric suit. I mean, how subtle can you be? That's actually not a bad idea.
I mean, it is fashionable, and I don't think anyone there would necessarily realize what it was the way that you know what it is. It would just be like a fabulous nod to the 70s and a super cool suit.
And I would be wearing my green faux fur coat, and green and orange are a winning combo.
There you go.
I think we've solved it. This is why we do this podcast, to dress me. Yeah, so that's one of them. I've got like a few kind of lined up. Amazing. So I wanted to. David, who won Destination. Spoilers. Yes. I mean, if you haven't seen it by now, your own fault.
Yeah. Well,
but David won Destination. Love David. Smashed it. And his winning collection is now in M&S stores.
Oh, really?
And I have the green suit.
Oh, amazing! I haven't even been to see it, and I really should. And I wonder if there must still be stuff.
I think there's in London. There's only 3 stores that are stocking it. One in Marble Arch.
Yeah, that's the big one near me.
The big one, which is probably your nearest. Yeah. I can't remember what the other ones are, but there's another one, and then the rest are like splattered throughout.
Okay, I'll have to go check it out. Also, because I know him, and it would be nice to support.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was definitely one factor in making sure I owned one to get support, but also it's stunning, and I want one desperately.
Yeah, well, exactly.
As soon as I saw that at the final, I was like, I need that suit. I will own it, and I've got it. And the fact his sister absolutely rocked it with him in the campaign. I don't know if you've seen.
I didn't know that was his sister.
That's his sister.
Oh, that's very cool.
And they're both stunning, but the fact they've both got to model it is...
That's very cool. Oh, I had no idea. Oh, okay. Well, that's quite cool, actually. Yeah. I was just thinking, beautiful model, M&S, like what they would normally do.
Yeah.
Very cool, keeping it all in the family.
Yeah, and she is just very cool, so...
Oh, wow.
Of course, no brainer. So I'm thinking of wearing that suit to either the Works Christmas Do or one of the other parties we've got going on.
Okay, nice.
Yes, I'm just diving into the party season. So I'm not in the midst of my own kind of collection development at the moment, although I do have plans in the future coming up.
I find I'm in the same sort of boat as you, where I had a string of work that was keeping me busy until very recently. This is sort of the tail end of a job that I started. That's all right. We'll come back to it later. Yeah, exactly. Work that I came back to from having been off the wedding and everything, and so I'm finishing this, and then that's sort of it for the year. And it's really just a question of what am I developing for next year? So I don't know what that is. Stay tuned. But
whatever it'll be glorious.
Well, exactly. But in terms of like development, I know when we were speaking last episode, and we were speaking with Dalen as well, and we were kept touching in and out of like creative pattern cutting, pattern development, and development from that point of view. And I know that's what he does mostly, and he's particularly good at it, which is always exciting to meet somebody that you can have that conversation with. But I think, often, well, actually, it really depends. And we were speaking about this off the recording, but where you sort of place yourself in terms of collection development, I mean, you would potentially be starting before the patterns, right?
Yeah.
So it would have started before our episode if you're thinking of it in terms of chronologically, but then also it happens after. So you've designed a collection, you know what you need to work on, you've figured out sort of, I don't know, range, if you will. Then you start breaking down piece by piece and pattern drafting and sampling and having people try it on and doing all the fits, and then you're going back to the drawing board after that and correcting everything and continuing that sort of development stage, which I appreciate is really technical and might be boring to some people. We don't have to go into it too much, but there is that really kind of interesting sort of point where this conversation can be split. Are we talking, technical development, patterns, adjustments, fabric sourcing, print?
Yeah.
Or are we talking the initial developments of the design process? And it can go either way, really, right?
Yeah.
I know you were saying about prints, and actually we were talking about party season and everything, and how that's such a big part of what people are doing, development-wise for this time of year.
It's a huge market, isn't it? People, it's well, not only is it obviously a huge time of year for retail in general, or the sales of anything. Because talking of party season, people will want to go out and get something for party season, but also gifts for people, the time at home and whatnot. But that kind of then leads to the preparation of the collections for it so much, so far in advance that you kind of you'd be surprised at how far.
Yes.
It is. So, like, I did mention before that we started recording about, when I was working in the pattern design studio, you'd often see like the rhythm of when certain prints would kind of come through or be more popular. And it's like springtime, summertime, sometimes even earlier, that companies are looking for Christmas prints.
Absolutely.
Or to then mock up into samples or to test design ranges with, find the right fabrics and then put it into production ahead of Christmas period.
Yeah.
And even when, I was doing like internships during my master's, I was with a print design studio, and which I think was summer, and one of the main focuses was they needed to get a Christmas range in.
Oh my goodness.
And it was July.
I was going to say, and that seems almost like they've left it to the last minute.
Exactly. It was very much. You kind of got that vibe. It was like, we need one in. But it was like summer. And you kind of think, how can you even...
I know. How can you put yourself in the mindset of winter and what people are going to be wearing, whether it be holiday season, party season, or just generally for that time of year? But that's just how the industry cycle works, right?
Yeah, and I suppose a lot of it would be driven by trends or cycles from it may or may not have trickled down from higher fashion areas, or it could have just been this is very of the moment. So some things are really fashionable at the moment.
Well, absolutely, but also I think you can't leave out the fact that if we're talking winter, we're talking, let's say, Christmas, right? And all of the sort of, I don't even know, everything that comes with Christmas. I can't think of the word. Whether we're talking clothes or accessories or ornaments, whatever. But in this case, we're talking fashion. So I think it's one thing to be of the moment or to plan ahead or think about trends, but also Christmas and the holidays and party season has its own unique,
very
sort of look, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you might just be doing your design research based off of that. So you might be recycling the same things over and over again because they always sell, but bringing in a new print, keeping the same shape, bringing in a new fabric technology, but it's sometimes can be difficult. It can sometimes be a no-brainer because that pair of pajamas always sells out, and all we need to do is do it in 3 new fabrics. So I mean, there's so many different ways that you can look at
knowing what's kind of staple.
Yes, thank you. Staple.
What always sells.
Yes.
But then
it's that bread and butter,
wanting a fresher twist on something, or what's exactly. But there is also like another layer to it, which could go perhaps even deeper, which is, what do you know is happening around Christmas?
Yes.
That people are then going to want to tune into, and then ultimately get something to connect it with. Like, is there a film coming out, or is there a particular celebrity range coming out, or what's pop culture relevant, or that kind of thing. And then people will go, oh, wouldn't it be great to have this? Remember when Harry Potter was huge and everything was Harry Potter?
Yeah.
The pajamas would be some form of print of Harry Potter, or I only mention that because I've only just watched it for the first time in my life.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah. George and I have been going through them.
Oh, that's so funny. I remember seeing the first one in the theater when it came out, whenever that was. I don't recall. My brother's friend's sister, who's a year younger than me, wanted to see it. They were seeing another movie that day that was like rated R or whatever.
Yeah.
She wasn't able to go, and they asked if I would take her to see Harry Potter, which I did.
Yeah.
And
the first one.
The first one.
Yeah.
So what was that, like 20 years ago?
Oh, I don't even know.
And
that's sick.
And then I know, honestly. And since then, I haven't. Yeah. I was never a fan of the books. I have no problem with it. Don't get me wrong. It was never my thing.
Well, I've not actually read the books either. It's just I thought, I've never gone through them, so why not? Well, I saw the last one. That's the only one I saw.
Okay.
I thought I might as well, and that was years and years and years.
Yeah, well, again, that's probably like 10 years ago.
Well, exactly, but even that's like kind of classed as Christmas time, right?
Yeah,
because it's prevalent in the films that there's always a Christmas tree, what have you.
Definitely.
So when it comes to Christmas time, people gravitate back towards those kind of things.
Well, that makes sense, and I think you're right. Like big films and things that come out at that time of year, like do influence whether it be what toys are people going to buy or just sort of what's going to be like in popular media and culture at that point.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. I'm not sure of any big Christmas films that are coming out this year. I don't know, because often I also think they try to get in just before the votes go through for the Academy Awards as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you come out within that last week of the year, you can still be considered for like Best Picture or Best whatever. But I have to be honest, I haven't really looked to see what's due in December film-wise.
No, neither have I.
But even here, like, I know we were speaking earlier about Wicked, which we can come back to. But I just had a thought and I don't want to forget. So I'm Canadian, as we all know. Things are very different where I come from. Obviously, we have like holidays and the Santa Claus parade and Christmas and just like party season and all of that. But I find living in the UK, especially here in London, there's so much more of it. It's so much bigger.
Yeah.
The streets are so beautifully decorated. There are lights everywhere. There are ceremonies to switch them on. Like, we don't have any of that.
Yeah.
But one thing that I still have yet to get used to, and I've been here 20 years and change, is Christmas starting in July. Going to a big department store like, I don't know, Selfridges or John Lewis, and the Christmas shop opening in the summer.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like, it begins so early here. Where I'm from, we have Halloween, and everything is like Halloween centric, and it's fun. I still love it even at this age. And then very shortly after, because we've already had our Thanksgiving, it'll transition to Christmas. If I lived in the US, I feel like we would have Halloween, then a month later we would have American Thanksgiving, which is in a few days' time. Everything would be Thanksgiving. That holiday would end, and then all the Christmas stuff would roll out. And you'd have that sort of 1 month period leading up to where everything becomes Christmas all of a sudden. And that always felt really normal to me. The weather was changing. It was getting a bit colder. We'd have snow on the ground. All the leaves have fallen. But like, hanging out in summer and like walking through like Christmas Station is just crazy to me.
It is crazy, but that echoes how the design world is.
Of course it is.
Which is nuts. So it's kind of like, you can't really have one without the other.
No, and you were saying earlier, working with people and them starting to look for Christmas fabrics in June or whatever it was, which is around that same period of time. And I feel like that does make sense because you're looking to put out a product for the season, but you wouldn't necessarily be selling those clothes in June.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're thinking of it from like a development point of view, it does make sense to me, although I think realistically you would want to do it a year in advance.
Yeah.
But I guess it depends on the sort of scope of your brand as well.
Yeah, I think the bigger you are, the more time you have.
Exactly.
To do it, yeah.
Like I remember when I used to do footwear, and we used to develop 4 collections a year, right? And we never did a Christmas collection ever, but there was always as you said earlier, a party season little corner. And those shoes would come out when the autumn-winter collection came out. Sometimes you would stagger certain things just to, build interest and whatnot, but they would be planned the year in advance to essentially be ready to go when those products started hitting the stores.
Yeah.
And you might push them lightly, and then as you went into the autumn months and towards the winter, you'd push them quite heavily. But it would always be fun in a design meeting and a development meeting to think like, okay, well, we've got 85 SKUs to cover. We need at least, let's say, 15 of them to be very particularly like holiday. We aren't going to design a new style per se, but we are going to use this, amazing velvet or this glittery fabric or this gold shimmer. And it was always this like super glamorous, super fun product that we were trying to develop, because you could always put the tag that it would be perfect for holiday parties, New Year's Eve. Everybody's going out. Everybody wants to be like elevated. And so we would develop that into the collection, or we would have people make us specific materials that were, as I say, glittery velvet. It would often be, cranberry color and navy and emerald green and gold.
Yeah.
Lots of crystals and jewels everywhere. It was always that elevated process.
Yeah.
Always intended for the holidays. And I loved that. It was fun. It was a really interesting thing because it was its own sort of set of rules that didn't necessarily apply to what trends were on at the moment, which is what I was saying earlier. That kind of winter season had its standard, like,
it's his own animal.
Exactly. It had its parameters that we knew would always work. There'd always be somebody looking for a really stunning, heeled black velvet shoe with gold crystal and glitter. Like, it would never not work.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think it still will. I don't see that sort of thing changing. Maybe it would be different if our climate here was summer this time in the sort of December, like if we were in Australia or wherever. Then I imagine things would be quite different. You would still be celebrating Christmas, but you might not be looking for, black velvet and gold.
Yeah.
But given that we are in a northern hemisphere, I think that
it would probably just flip, though, wouldn't it? So when we would be looking at developing a collection for the party season, Christmas season, because it's cold and people are going to want an essence of glamour or warmth. If you're developing for a market that's in a different hemisphere that would have the opposite environment, you would just adapt. So it's still party season, but what would you wear to a party in summer?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly it. But then I don't know that you would necessarily cover those other products during their winter when it's our summer, right?
Yeah.
So when it's June and it's approaching winter time there, do they need, glittery gold and black velvet? Probably not.
Yeah.
But then, like you say, what's that sort of alternative for their summer? It's something I've never worked in myself, so I haven't developed for that part of the world. But it would be interesting just to, just take a quick look into what it is that the other people are looking to create, because it's something I've never done before.
It kind of begs the question, how does one approach developing a collection?
Okay. How do you mean?
So when I was, again, to go back to my internship thing earlier, I remember one of the things being mentioned was we need, I can't actually remember the name of the company I worked for, but I think it was mainly homeware. They wanted a range, they had an end product that they wanted.
Okay.
And then they worked backwards. So they go, okay, this is what we want. What steps do we need, or what do we want?
Oh, yeah.
To have that.
Okay.
Have on that thing.
Oh, sorry.
But with fashion, that was homeware. But with fashion, I don't think it would be the end goal. The end product would be the focus. It would be what's the trend, or what's the vibe, or what's the market, or what have you. First, then you would create, like your mood board and your trend boards and your material boards and all that kind of stuff, and then you'd go to design.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. So only because it's the collection development episode.
Yes,
kind of. Very casual combo.
Yeah.
The listeners may, correct me if I'm wrong, but may or may not want to know, how does one get from, we know, let's say we're in June, March, whatever, we're now in Christmas design mode or Christmas plan mode, how one would get from, we know what time of year we're designing for, to this is the collection we're going to release.
Okay. I mean, for
how would you approach it?
Well, how would I approach it? That's a very interesting question. If I was doing it on my own, which for the purpose of this, I think it would be I'm doing everything, which I typically do anyway. It would be not unlike what you were just describing with your previous job, what is the end goal? So I want a winter stroke holiday collection. I know how many pieces I need. We're talking clothing, so not accessories. So, certain amount of bottoms, tops, dress, male, female, whatever it would be, right? Yeah. So I would know what I would need, and it would probably be a small capsule style collection because I don't need a full, 85 piece range for the holidays.
Yeah.
And I think I would probably start developing those shapes first. So considering what people would want to wear, what maybe some of the loose trends are for that current climate, and designing within that mindset, within those parameters of the winter and that holiday style. And at that point, thinking, am I sourcing materials from local places? Am I reaching out to a print facility to say, I need this printed, I need that printed, having things custom made? So that would be a part of my development initial design process.
So is that before you get to the actual garment designs themselves?
No. So I would have the shapes in mind, and I'd probably start designing those shapes. But while that was happening, I would also have to consider certain fabrics that might not be readily sourced from suppliers. So if I, let's say, needed to have knitwear done, I might need to start reaching out to somebody to design me, to realize my design for a certain type of knit that I want.
Yeah.
Or if I was doing something that was, beaded or sequined or flocked or whatever it might be, I think I would also have to start reaching out to those people, partially because they get busy, and also because sometimes that'll reflect on what the design can actually be. So I wouldn't necessarily be making sequin pajamas, but I might be making something with a flocked fabric or a custom printed fabric. So because it's a small capsule collection, and maybe it's a little bit backwards, I think for myself, I would have the shapes in mind, knowing what I need, pant, short, skirt, dress, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I would have that in mind. It would be like loose, but it would be there within the quantity that I need. So 12 pieces creates, 6 looks or whatever. And I would be able to source material from a supplier on the regular, but I wouldn't be able to just go and find a custom something. And because I do a lot of custom fabrics and a lot of things that are made specifically for what I'm doing, I would start to reach out to those people in the earlier stages in case it would help dictate what design I can do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, I appreciate that's unique to me.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
But that's how I would approach it initially. Then it would be the fun part. I'd start developing the design, start considering patterns, would certain fabrics dictate what types of shapes I can do, and I would be figuring all of that out and kind of going back and forth, fabric development, pattern development, fabric, wall, mock-up, etc., and would hope for, this perfect capsule collection where all the fabrics were the right type for the right types of shapes and the purpose of them, maybe some custom-made pieces, custom-made fabric, and go from it that way. That's a very unique kind of process, but it is a very specific little collection that I would be creating because it would be surrounding that kind of party season, Christmas. And like I said earlier, it would be within those parameters. It's different, I think, than doing a seasonal collection, autumn, winter, resort, spring, summer, that type of thing, pre-fall. And that's how I would probably approach it. And I do think that is a little bit backwards, but that's always worked for me.
Not necessarily that's backwards. I actually see that as quite efficient.
Well, how would you approach something like that?
I'd do it the other way around.
So what does that mean?
So I would go, this is what I want to make, because this is what I want it to make you feel.
Right.
And then work my way backwards.
Okay.
So I would, sorry, I'm just going to adjust myself. It might pick up on the mic, so peeps. So say, let's stick with party season. Say I want to make a mini collection, capsule collection, exactly. And I go, right, I want a gentle neutral suit, or I want a gentle neutral jumpsuit, or whatever it is. I think of what I want that end thing to look like. So is it oversized? Is it tighter in certain areas? Is it flowing? Is it comfy? What's the feeling I want? Then I'll go, okay, so I'm going to go with, because I'm feeling glam this year. Let's go with I want to feel glam and chic. So to me that means velvet. That means maybe cashmere jumper or something, or what the materials I want to feel luxurious. So then that's what I would look for. Rather than, I suppose it's not massively different, but I then from that, so I suppose I do my design section first, then materials, where you go, what's my material, then the design, because it might dictate the design.
Yes, for this unique situation. That's exactly how I would do it.
Whereas I would do design first, then materials. Because I want to know, which maybe it's backwards, I don't know, but it's always kind of worked for me because I want to know, right, this garment is like this, so would this fabric work for that? Rather than going, I want this fabric, would that garment work? You know what I mean? Like, rather than having it the other way around.
No, I do.
Dictating.
I know exactly what you mean. I think that's what I was trying to, which I appreciate I might not have been saying clearly, but if I was doing a much larger body of work, it would always be, what season am I designing for? What is it that I'm designing? So clothes, shoes, whatever. It would be design first, then fabric, always. Because on a larger body of work, that I think would work better for myself. Because there'd be more time, and if I did have materials that I could source readily, anyway, I know that I would be able to start looking for things that the designs have already dictated. Right? And if I did need to have something made for whatever I was purpose would be, I would have the time to have that made. But with this sort of, like I say, this kind of wintry holiday season, party season, Christmas season, however you want to say it, mini collection that I sit, like, in my mind has very strict parameters. Like, yes, I might be looking to do a shape or a design that is somehow related to a current trend, but there's a very specific look for those things that, you know, we live within a society and we have. And I think for me, at that point, it would be easier to jump back and forth between the design and the material selection process.
That's true.
Because some things might dictate something else. And that's, you know, me doing all the design, me doing all the pattern development, me potentially doing all the fabric and design development. So it would work better for me that way, rather than designing a full collection and then having to try to find material for it.
I suppose it makes more sense as well, because if you was to do, I don't know, maybe I'm getting myself at it, but there's one way round, I think, of doing that with a garment first or materials first that would actually be more beneficial, because you're not being wasteful.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and there are other, I mean, we could talk about that in a whole other conversation, but you might think, I'm doing a small collection, and small in the sense of the amount of garments that I'll be making in total, and also the amount that I'm designing. And you might think, I'm going to go to my regular fabric supplier, I'm going to request all of the, you know, ends of lines that they've got, and I'm just going to make until I run out of fabric. Because it is a seasonal collection like Christmas, and you don't necessarily need to have hundreds of garments unless you're a huge brand, of course. You could probably work within it that way and be more sustainable. That may not be exactly what you were referring to, but that is a way that you could do that.
No, kind of.
To create unique pieces, and they might not be zero waste garments, but you might think, I don't have 500 meters of fabric, so I have to use up these, you know, 10 meters of this, 20 meters of that, 5 meters of that. And you could create a series, quite a few pieces from that. But then when it's done, it's done. And you've then taken that fabric, you know, out of that warehouse, off the planet, made into something else that hopefully you'd imagine the person who purchased it will wear for years and years and years, and that'll be helping with the sustainability aspect. You could look at it from that point.
No, definitely. But I also think, like, say I was making, like I was just kind of trying to describe that white suit, party season, like that, hypothetical. I would go up with, right, I want this suit and I want it to feel this way and I want it to, what have you. I would then only get material for that. So then I suppose, and because I do like to upcycle and I do like to kind of reuse where I can, I suppose that would also be more sustainable as well, because then you're not taking more than you need for a particular item, rather than having, I mean, it's still sustainable. What you were just saying there, that's kind of a good way of looking at it. You're only using what you have.
Yes.
You're not going out and getting more and more and more and more.
Yes.
But you could go even further by going, right, I'm not going to take all of this and just use it. I'm just going to only take what I need.
Right.
And limit it so I'm not overusing or wasting fabric or what have you. So I quite like that. I think that way, it's not a shame that the big companies have these huge collections that they've developed using all of this fabric, and let's not even get into the water of it all.
I know that's a whole other conversation.
But using all of this stuff to create this collection that ultimately may end up not selling, and then what are they going to do with it? Like came out with Burberry recently, when they were just basically burning all of their stuff.
Oh, and they're not the only ones.
And they're not the only ones doing it. Exactly. So wasting all of this material for ultimately just to end up burning it is crazy.
Yeah.
So I feel like doing it that way, where even if it's a mini collection or not, it would be interesting if you weren't doing mini collections and you're just doing a normal collection. If you could work that way all the time with, right, we're doing it our way basically.
Yeah.
We've got this design, or we want to have this vibe. What do we have that would work with it? Rather than letting, I don't know, rather than just going, oh, it doesn't matter what the design is, because we'll just use whatever material we need to do it.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's just different ways of approaching it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, and it's a good conversation to be had. I mean, you could extend that to anything. It doesn't have to just be like a small collection.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? And I know, so there's some interesting brand models, and there's fashion models, rather, and somebody I know who does this, where I believe it's every month, is what they refer to as like a drop. They specifically work with ends of lines fabric. They have, I don't know, 4, I think it's shapes that they make sort of exclusively in like 3 sizes each. They make everything up in advance. It's first come, first serve. Once everything is gone, it's gone. And that fabric doesn't exist anymore. Those clothes have been sold off. And then it's like 4 weeks, 6 weeks later, whatever, is another drop again. They use up the end of lines, whatever fabric they've purchased. It does fit within a bit of a trend in what's going on, but they seek out this sort of like last roll of 20 meters, last roll of 5
that would end up in landfills or burnt. Yeah.
Exactly. They make everything out of it.
I love that.
And then they sell it off. And maybe their model will change, but in the moment they're still doing this. I think it's actually quite interesting.
Yeah.
And for me, it's been quite inspiring. I thought I might do that, but I haven't come to that just yet. Because people, where you can get fabric, you can use up things, and you don't have to feel that it's wasteful.
I would love to see what you would do in that kind of situation, because that's such a good idea. I think that the jumpsuit I made for Rome, that was end of roll.
Yeah.
And I couldn't let it be. So I was like, oh, I'm going to grab that, take that. And when I've got a smidge a bit left, I'm actually going to make it into a shirt. And then I've used it all. And that's perfect. That's kind of what you need to have, rather than it kind of sitting in a warehouse, or, like we say, not being burnt or something. That would be really interesting.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
So that's something that, for me, and I mean, we don't have to get into the sort of business model stuff now, but I have thought about taking, inspiration from that and figuring out, I don't know, X amount of styles. And it would just be the continuous making of the same thing in, like, say, in sort of 3 sizes. So it could be a little bit more gender neutral. It could not be. It could be specifically women's wear or menswear. But regardless of that, if you think you've got 3 sizes, 4 sizes, whatever it is, and you are essentially making the same thing over and over again, but then that also means your production could go a bit more quickly. Today is the pocket day, today is the collar day, today is the whatever day. Get everything done, because you know what's on your list that you need to make. You know how much you can make based off of the amount of fabric that you have. So you've got that sort of quick production. And then hopefully you're popular enough where if you announce, whether it be on a website, on social media, whatever it is, that, drop is coming next week, first come, first serve, sell everything off. We're closed now for 4 weeks, redevelop your next set of garments with your next end of fabric. And the cycle continues.
That's literally the model that I'm working with.
Well, that's what I would like. I think I would like to do that. I've thought about it, but I haven't made it happen. But it's just rather than only doing custom.
Yeah.
Or doing both, but knowing that that's going on in the background.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the midst of sorting out my website. Just to have a diversion for a moment, I'm in the middle of sorting out my website, which is driving me mad. I've just got the hang of it. It's going well. We're getting there. But the purpose of me doing the website is to have that kind of that place where you do have that drop.
Yes.
Because I don't want to just overproduce or overmake or have all of these, the big companies are doing it enough. We don't need more of let's have this style and this style and this style and this style and this style, this fabric and so on. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
You can change the same pattern for a garment so much by using embellishments, fabric choice.
Absolutely.
A quick, a dart here, a pleat there, whatever it may be. You can adapt. So what I have, I pretty much have the same, 4 patterns, maybe 5, that I will use for almost everything.
Okay.
But what I do is I mix and match. So I will add them together if I need to. I would change it. I would remove whatever you need. But the point of that is that the style may be similar, but that stops over, in my mind, overproduction because you're not going, right, well, this season I'm going to make, a 3-meter piece of fabric turn into a shirt and end up with a ton of waste.
Yes,
or,
I know what you mean.
You know exactly what you need.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you have. So I'm definitely that vibe. I keep the same, because my thing is it should be gender neutral. I feel like that's where it should go. It's more inclusive. I wear things that I know my sister would wear quite happily, and vice versa. I've worn skirts. They're not a feminine thing anymore. Like, we need to get rid of that whole garment mindset of men versus women. So yeah, I have the same kind of stuff, like patterns. I will adapt it. I will change it. I'll tweak it. I'll let the flow, the feeling dictate where it goes. And then, so to get back to my original point, after that babbling, sorry peeps, all of that is so that I am enabled to create items for drops. So I can go, let's go get an end of raw fabric, or let's go get some waste, or let's turn something that I know will end up in the bin and add it to something really cool, and then put those items together, do one drop.
Yeah.
When it's gone, it's gone. They'll never be repeated.
Yeah.
That's kind of my whole bag, and I kind of feel I would highly recommend that.
Well, I like that. So I do like that. I mean, I think, as you say, they can never be repeated, and that's in terms of the material. You might make the same shapes over and over again. Now, you talk about mixing and matching patterns, which I quite like. I never do that. For me, it's all about creating a new one for every project. Pattern plan, pattern pieces. You can always go back and see if there are any mistakes where they happened. But that's like my education, like drummed into my head as well. That takes a lot longer. And the couple of times where I've had no choice and I've had to make something quick, like that, what did they call it? That jellyfish dress that I did with Nicole for the Sustainable Fashion Week. I didn't have the time to do all of that. So it had to be done quickly. And Lee was like, see, I told you can do things quickly. And I was like, I can.
But you prefer not to.
But I prefer not to, because if there was a problem, if it didn't work, I would have nowhere to look and find out where the problem happened.
Yeah.
So I would rather take those, extra few weeks in a whole year accumulated to go back to have a paper plan to see where everything may have gone wrong. If it's gone wrong, never does. No, just joking. No. But I mean, that's a little bit different.
I have paper plans. Patterns. I have the actual pattern.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is, when you talk about mixing and matching pieces together, like in my head,
I see what you mean. Yeah,
it's like it's not right. So, but that's just how we work differently. But then I like the idea of having X amount of garments that you do, and them being different. Firstly, for the materials that are used or the embellishments that are used. So when you were speaking about that, I quite like that. I think that's really interesting, and it is something that I think could be a good way to work in the future.
I agree.
And still be creative and still making things that you like. And if you do want to introduce new pieces into your collection, well, then you start developing new patterns.
Exactly. You have the choice to. It's
Correct.
Not a one-stop.
No,
shop.
just because you've got 4 styles doesn't mean those have to be yours for the end. The end of it. But it doesn't mean that they won't be, because that might work for you.
Yeah.
And there is no need to introduce anything new. So I think that is all dependent on your customer base and if you are successful. But I do think it's interesting, and it does interest me personally very much.
I think it would be good for you. I mean, firstly, before I get into that thought train, that's actually very indicative of our personalities.
Okay.
I think because you're so well trained and you have such skill from your how you've got to where you are now, which we covered in the last episode with Dalen. You have such knowledge behind you to know what it should be,
right?
And that's done you well for so long, and you're so skilled with it, and you can churn out these incredible things because of it. But I think it would be good for you to try it my way. One, because it's growth in terms of it gives you something different to try, and really kind of push your boundaries, and you'll probably find a new skill set or a new love for something because of it. Whereas in the reverse is because I'm so experimental, let's say, I'll explore through, what if I was to put this on? What if I was to do this here? What if I was to go here? What if I was to add that? What have you? And then create, because I have the patterns, and then I work from that pattern and make whatever I have and make it work for the pattern. You kind of have to problem solve along the way. And that's kind of how my brain works.
Yes.
You know, I wouldn't say the word chaotic. I'd say more energetically creative.
Yeah.
But I think that works. But I think if I was to do it your way, that would do me well.
Yeah, it's true. Putting your mindset somewhere different, so it isn't just the same old thing, forces you, as you say, to learn and grow from that too. And it might not be a positive experience, but then you also know because you've gone through all
You've tried it.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think I might have mentioned in a previous episode, but my sister and I have this thing of never have a what if. Because it's better to know you don't like something than to have wondered if it would have. Like,
no, that's true.
You can't look back and go, oh, I wish I tried that, but what if this happens? Nah.
No.
Not having that. So it might not work, but you've tried.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way to approach things. It's not always easy.
No.
But it is definitely positive.
Yeah.
I think.
No, I agree. So with that in mind, actually, talking of collection development, I did want to mention that Katie from the show.
Oh, yeah, you were saying earlier.
Powerhouse, truly. You need to go check. Katie is, correct me if I'm wrong, Katie, at this point, at time of filming, but you are 6 months pregnant, and she has just created a Christmas collection that I think she's about to drop in, I don't know, something like 9 days, 10 days,
unbelievable,
less than 2 weeks, basically. And I am in awe, because not only is it very glam and it's very on brand for her. Her brand is that blonde stitch.
Oh yes, I've seen that before.
Yeah, which is a very clever pun, play on words. I love that for her.
I know you love a pun.
I do. I love it. It's just it's just so good. There's something powerful in it. I don't know if have I told you the story about behind her brand name.
No, but we will come back to that.
We'll come back to it. It's just so beautiful. But anyway, so she's created this Christmas collection. I think at this moment, I don't think it's out yet.
Okay.
But
it's due to come out.
It's very, very imminent. And it's gorgeous. Like the shapes, the materials that she's done. So I just want to give props basically and give kudos to Katie. And if you haven't had a look, go and have a look at her Instagram, that blonde stitch. I think her personal is just Katie Wilson, I think. I can't remember. But you'll find it from her brand one. And I'll post it on socials as well. But that deserves recognition because she's growing life, which is incredible anyway.
Yes.
And just so happened to, on a tight schedule, throw a Christmas collection out.
Amazing. So what's the story behind the name?
So, have you ever heard the phrase, that blonde bitch? It's like I'm having a blonde moment or whatever.
Oh, okay, fine. No, but yes.
Yeah, right. So because she's blonde, I think, again, Katie, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like when someone uses that trait against you to say that you're either dumb or you can't do something, she's completely subversed it and got that blonde stitch and been like, okay, well, I'm going to turn it into a... Well,
she's using it to her benefit. Yeah. Good for her.
Yeah, I mean, she's smart. Like, she's... I think I even mentioned it on the show. She studied neuroscience.
Unbelievable.
So she's smart, she's talented, and possibly underrated, I would imagine, if she's using that kind of brand name. I don't know, but absolute powerhouse and impressive beyond measure that she's...
That's very cool.
That she's pulled that out.
Well, good for her. That's amazing.
Yeah. So, very good pun, very good play on words. Well done, bravo you. Also, cannot wait to see the full collection and go and see it now. Thanks. That's the end of my plug.
So, totally off topic.
Yeah, let's have a switch up.
But still fashion related, adjacent, whatever.
Yeah. I
was just going to comment on how we match, but it wasn't intentional.
Yes, we kind of do.
Kind of.
Yeah, it's like a slight Czech vibe.
Yeah.
I've gone houndstooth, you've gone
gingham.
Jack.
Would we call this gingham? What would we call this? It's not quite gingham. I mean, it's like in the family.
It's kind of like a gingham tartan hybrid.
Yeah. So, I just wanted to make that comment. That's
and also he's matching his shoes, his socks.
Oh, so. Yes, my socks.
I've thrown a curveball.
But that was also not intentional.
Not intentional.
But clearly I was thinking black and white in my mind.
Yeah. I mean, for those who may not be watching, but only listening, he's got Argyle. Argyle?
Yeah.
Socks with...
no, it's not. It's Harlequin.
Thank you, Harlequin. Socks with like a gingham-ish kind of jumper, and I've got a black and white houndstooth knitted vest on, and it's in sync.
Yeah.
As usual.
Yeah.
It's in sync.
I know. I love it. Yeah. I just felt the need to bring it up.
Well,
why not? Blue jeans and are matching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always on the same page.
Yeah. Well, this is why we're here.
Exactly. Yeah. That's so fashion. Okay, I feel like we're at the point where we need to talk. We've talked collection development, and we've spoken about the fact it's party season, and that party season collection developments are sometimes connected to what's happening at the moment.
Yes.
Should we touch on the fact that Wicked has now come out?
It's not out just yet. It's out next week.
Next week. Okay, forgive me. So don't come for me.
We can talk about it briefly. I mean,
And how, I mean, it's going to be brief, but I feel like that's very of the moment.
Very much so. And there have been some incredibly beautiful clothes that have been out there the last, now several months.
Yeah.
Sort of leading up to this huge movie premiere, which I believe is Thursday or Friday of next week.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole cast has been seen wearing some spectacular clothes. Just, in that pink and green theme. Very much on theme for the film. I find anybody that we've seen showing up somewhere, they have been dressed with their character.
Yeah, they've been very smart with that.
Very much so. You know, whether it be Jeff Goldblum or Ariana Grande, any of them.
Yeah.
Have been dressed very much within the theme of their character. And I wonder how long that'll continue, if it'll be until after the whole movie series has completed, because I believe they're doing 2 parts, or if it'll as far as I know, they're doing a 2-parter.
I didn't know that.
And I wonder about that. But have you said you have not seen Wicked before?
I've not seen anything.
Ever?
Ever.
Do you know the story? Have you read the book?
No.
Okay.
Obviously, it's I say obviously. I could be completely wrong. Don't you dare come for me in the comments. Isn't it telling the story of, it's like an origin story of Glinda and Elphaba?
Essentially, yes.
and how they ended up being, or their reputation ended up being what they were in Wizard of Oz?
So yeah,
Have I really
no.
minimized it?
Yeah. Well, to the bare minimum, it's way more than that.
Okay.
Without giving away anything.
Yeah.
It is essentially the story of how the two witches met.
Yeah.
And became friends.
Okay.
That's essentially the story, and there's so much more there. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not a. I couldn't quote the book to you, though I have read it.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it on stage several times. Mm-hmm. It's a lovely, lovely show. I would recommend it if it's something that you like, musical theatre. It's very, very well done. The London cast is fabulous. It's a really fun show. It's got beautiful music.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real good thing.
It is something that's always been on my radar. I will say that I've always wanted to go see, especially on stage, because I always see stuff about it where it's amazing, it's incredible, the production's cool, the talent's like unreal. I just really must go see it. I've just never got around to it.
It covers a lot of really good, what I would say are very important themes as well. You know, especially being true to yourself and who you are, and not letting other people squash you.
Yeah, it does feel very subtexty.
Yes, and so that is a wonderful thing about it, which I do think you'd quite like. If you're not somebody who enjoys musical theatre, I don't know that you would enjoy it. Not everybody does, but it is a fantastic show. And I've got friends who have worked on it. I have friends who have starred in it, and that's just coincidental. But that's not why I like it. It's just, it's nice to hear their point of view as well, and how it resonates with so many people. Yeah. And as you say, the film is due to come out next week. I know I'm seeing it Friday morning with a bunch of friends, and I don't think I'll be dressing in color theme, but you never know. As I'm sure everybody in that theater will be either wearing pink or green.
That's definitely something I would do.
But they have been wearing some unbelievable clothes.
Yeah.
Have you seen much of the red carpet?
I haven't seen all of them. I've seen a couple, and every time I'm more astonished than the last.
Oh.
I'm like, that's incredible, that's gorgeous, that's stunning. Like, there was one, I think we spoke about it earlier, where they're in Paris, and she's wearing, Cynthia's wearing a green dress that's pinched at the waist to make it look like poofy, give it structure, and she's got this amazing like round hat. There was the one with it's always Cynthia, maybe it's because it's green, I don't know. Is it like a jacket, and it's like green, like neon-y green? It's not fur, it's like it looks like it's slime or something. Like, what's
I don't know.
Do you know the one? I don't even think slime is the right word, but I just loved it. It was gorgeous, something that I would want to wear. It looks like it's maybe a faux fur shawly type jacket.
Okay.
That she's wearing. I can't remember what premiere it was. I want to say there's one in America. I can't remember.
Well, like I say, they've been all over the world.
They've been everywhere. And
they've been doing it for months, which is quite fun. It's always cute to see what they're wearing, but they have been wearing some of the most amazing clothes, and some of the best designers have been making them beautiful things, like Versace and Tom Brown and Vivienne Westwood, and like the list just goes on and on and on. I just think it's really been quite a moment in fashion. And as I say, I am very curious to see where it goes from there. But also the amount of brands that have been doing Wicked merch, essentially, and collaborations is astonishing. I think it's every other day now, I'm seeing something new online. Another brand is doing a Wicked collection. I've seen, I wish I could remember all of them. The ones I've seen most recently, Kipling was doing one. Cambridge Satchel Company was doing another. Camilla did one, and it was these stunning dresses, but they were so expensive. Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but goodness,
aimed at a certain market.
Very much so. I mean, it's like £1,500 for a dress.
Whoa,
it's not cheap.
Ouch.
Beautiful, but it's
beautiful from afar.
But yes, but it's just been so many of these brands. I mean, I think Lee said they saw Lexus did something. I think it was Lexus. So cars, and all the toys. It's unbelievable what is going behind, with the budget they've obviously had to do all these collaborations, and what is behind this film is. I saw M&S did a big collection. John Lewis, I think, did one as well. They had stuff there when I was there recently.
But it's such a big, Wicked, I mean, it's such a big brand anyway. When it's got such pull. because it's been on Broadway. It's obviously in the West End.
It's all travels around the whole world.
Exactly, it's huge. Because it's also connected to the Wizard of Oz, which is huge.
Yes.
So it's got this whole kind of back catalogue lore that people really like resonate with.
Yes.
So it's got a lot of pull. So of course, Brown's going to want a slice of the pie.
Absolutely.
Which kind of takes us back to what we were saying earlier about the collection development of how far in advance they must have been working on this.
I mean, some of these
with NDAs flying galore.
Well, of course, and you got to think like it's not just a question of say like with Cambridge Satchel. I think they go by now. I think they drop company. Getting like green and pink leather.
Oh God, yeah.
There's so much more into it, and all the marketing, and all the as you say, the NDAs, and all the copyright and everything, and it's like ever expanding.
Yeah.
It's nuts. And the first movie is due to come out in a few days' time, and I know that it is the big Thanksgiving film. It's not the big Christmas film, but it is the beginning of the season, right? And I don't even know. Hopefully, it won't be a flop. I mean, you never know with these things, right?
Yeah.
I imagine it'll do well, and it'll be really beautiful to watch, and it'll be amazing music. I can only imagine both. Well, everybody really is talented, but Cynthia especially and Ariana Grande are incredibly talented women.
I didn't realize. This feels like an appropriate moment to interject.
Sure.
That when they were filming the scenes for the film, they were singing live. They weren't miming to the track.
Yeah.
They were actually singing on set.
There was something actually, now that you say that was released not that long ago. It was like a behind the scenes, I believe, and it was their live singing.
Yeah.
And it was very beautiful. But again, incredibly talented people.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's fun. Don't be silly. It's our whole thing. But I don't even remember what we were saying. It doesn't matter. But the point is, it's a big movie for this time of year, and I don't know. I'm guessing it's going to do incredibly well.
Yeah,
and everybody will be anticipating the new release next. I don't know, Thanksgiving, Christmas, whenever the next one will come out. And I don't know. I feel like they'll try to keep this thing going as long as possible, especially if they're doing a second film and introducing other elements to it, right? So I'm expecting to see a lot of pink and green for the next year at least.
Well, unless part two, like the part one is let's show them meeting as friends, and then part two is going to be when things turn.
Well, again, depends on if you know the story.
I don't. I'm assuming there will be a turning point when things start getting a bit dicey, which means that the collections will be different. It won't be pink and green, I don't think.
But those are I only say that because that's the colors they've chosen.
Oh no, yeah. It's the iconic colors of the characters.
Well, it is, but then also Glinda isn't always wearing pink, whereas but Elphaba is green, so it's easy to use that color, right?
Yeah. But I think maybe they'll go like when part two is out, the collections around it will be slightly darker.
I would think so.
To reflect the meaning of the film.
Yeah, perhaps. But again, depending on the success of the film, it could also influence other things in terms of fashion. So like I say, they've been seen going to these premieres and other yellow carpet events for a while now, wearing these unbelievable clothes, right? Like spectacular clothes. And I wouldn't be surprised if just those things that people have been wearing, if this film is as successful as they plan it to be, would influence what people are wearing on the street, which, as we know, in terms of development, can influence what designers are doing. And sometimes in the last minute, you'll spin around on your head to try to capture what people are wearing.
Very zeitgeisty.
Right.
Yeah.
So if the success is as great as they expect it to be, that's what wouldn't surprise me if we start seeing it in mainstream.
I think you're probably right.
Right.
Because if you look back to other stuff that's happened.
Well, that's why I'm making me think of it.
Yeah. That's kind of what street fashion influences high-end fashion, which influences everyday fashion.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm curious not most, but very curious to see. Will there be an influence from this film, like we have seen from, I'm sure, many other films in the past? Of course, right now I can't think of any, but that's not.
Yeah, we're literally just trying to think of one. I can't think of a single one. I know no films apparently.
Yeah, neither do I.
Yeah.
All I keep thinking of is Star Wars, and I don't think
I thought of Star Wars.
Oh, did you?
So strange. How funny! I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, there's got to be a connection because it was so huge, wasn't it? Was it the 70s when it first came out the first time?
Yes.
And it was such a huge deal, and then the 80s when it started like doing the trilogy thing.
Yeah. But
influential.
But anyway, but yeah. So it's just, and I'm just curious to see, because that is sort of the big ticket item at the moment. And when this releases in a few days' time, that'll be the lead up to this premiere of this huge global movie. And whether you are a fan of Wicked or not, in your case you've not even seen it, it'll be hard to escape it. It'll be everywhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, socials are just every other post is something about it, yeah. But actually now that we're talking about it, I think it's kind of already happening. But when you were saying before about, how far in advance these things are developed and how people start, they go from an idea of what they need or what's happening at the time they want to release it.
Yes.
And that's what influences the collection. Dark greens is actually everywhere at the moment. And I'm wondering if that's connected.
It's quite possible. Again, considering how many brands have worked with this film, it wouldn't surprise me if other people are thinking, oh, we should jump on the bandwagon.
Everyone's going to want something either green or pink.
Right. Like when Barbie came out, was it last summer, I believe?
I can't remember. I think so.
And there was, I don't think as many, but again, so many collaborations with other brands and just sort of that type of styling popping up everywhere. And although these are completely different films, and Barbie is big.
No, but the meaning is still there.
Yes.
The process.
Yeah, exactly.
Something's really popular, it's going to influence what people want.
Absolutely. Well, I think one of the brands I used to work for did some shoes for the film that she was seen wearing. And they were super cute. And they decided to produce them for their own collections in a series of colors as well, because obviously it's their shoes. But so all of a sudden that was opened up to the whole world, and people were like, oh, I need to have the shoes that Barbie wore. So they're getting people buying them from all over the world, which worked for them.
Yeah.
But that definitely would have shifted their product, even if just temporarily, because of being seen in a big film like that. Yeah. So I think that's potentially you've got on something there where you're seeing a lot of green, and it might just be that people were aware of what was going on. Maybe they were approached, maybe they weren't, whatever it might be. And that now is the time to try to take advantage of that.
Yeah. Everything's kind of connected, like pop culture, fashion.
Oh yeah, especially now more than ever.
Absolutely. I think another good example of this would be Agatha All Along, the Disney show.
I loved it. We can talk about that after.
Oh, so good. Please tell me you've watched it.
It was amazing.
But now I've seen quite a few posts where, because of Agatha's iconic purple coat that she wears in the show, so many people and her necklace, obviously, are clamoring for something similar, and they want the coat. And there's that guy that basically reverse engineered the coat, made it, and now there's a pattern out there that you can get.
I know, it's so funny. And I love it.
It's like a perfect example of the interchangeable nature of fashion leading pop culture and pop culture leading fashion.
Well, again, now more than ever, I mean, everything's at our fingertips, right? So if something's got a big enough, I don't know, wave behind it or whatever, it can be hugely influential.
Yeah.
My God, I mean, I collect cameos, as you know.
You're wearing one right now?
I'm wearing one right now, and I wear them almost every single day, and I have for many, many years, and I don't have enough. But I will never have enough. But
I do love a good cameo.
I feel like now it's going to be impossible to buy them, and then the price is going to skyrocket, and it's going to have to be the end of my collection for a few years.
Well, there's a company, I don't know if it's officially affiliated with Marvel, but there's a company that does have Marvel Times, or whatever that brand name is, that is producing cameos, Agatha's cameo.
Oh, okay.
That you can turn into a necklace, which I will be getting at some point, just because it's stunning, not just because it's Agatha, but just because it's gorgeous. And it it's supposedly supposed to represent, the mother maiden crying thing that they talk about in the show. And it's just really pretty. So I think more people will, I think you're right, I think more people will want something similar, and then that will...
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking.
Influence.
It's, in some ways I don't love it, because, as a designer you think, like, they're going to want what they've seen in the movie, not like what the creative person is coming up with. But I also think it's just interesting just to see and understand how you can influence people and learn how to use that to your advantage.
Yeah. And which comes first in the development?
Well, I feel like this is an age-old discussion.
I know, chicken and egg?
Exactly.
Selection or outcome?
Since the beginning of time.
Since the beginning of time. Since that amoeba left that piece of water it was wondering what it was going to wear.
Exactly.
Yeah. Am I going to wear this cell or this cell? Let's split. Oh, jokes. Okay. Oh, I think it's probably a good time.
I was
to end
going to
this
say, I
episode.
feel like, we don't want to.
We're gambling on as usual, but excellent episode. I very much enjoyed that. Let us know what you think. If you enjoyed the combo, if you have any questions on the collection development, if you yourself are wondering, I want to get into it. How does one get from what you want to do to developing something yourself? Skills, etc. Reach out. Let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for listening. I'm going to be posting about Katie as well, just because I feel like that needs its props. That's crazy. Yeah, and we'll be back next month with our last episode of the year.
Crazy.
Episode 7. I cannot believe we're coming up to episode 7.
Unbelievable.
Living my truth. Loving this vibe that we've got going on. We will post also what about the next episode. I know I said I was going to do it this episode, but I forgot. So I will post about what next episode is going to be about and keep you guys apprised of that as well, so we can let people know what they want to know.
Exactly. And where we'll be.
And where we'll be.
When
and
we
what
close
we'll be
off
doing.
the year.
Yeah, and how many parties we've both been to. And yeah.
God, what are we going to wear? We'll figure that out later.
Something glamorous. Glorious. But for now, thank you very much for listening. And see you next time.
See you soon.
Bye.